He didn't raise his voice. He didn't throw a punch. He just slowly made her question everything. Her memory, her worth, her sanity. And that was how the real damage began. Because narcissistic abuse doesn't start with fear, it starts with charm. She thought she met her soulmate, a confession of how love turned into nightmare and how she survived it, a secret she never thought she'd tell. This is the timeline of how love turns into manipulation. This isn't just toxic love. This is manipulation with a smile, and how someone you trusted becomes a stranger in your own story. Here's today's confession, the story of Emily and Jacob. A relationship that seemed normal until a red flag that is subtle control turned into quiet chaos. Hints of obsession disguised as love, a confession about narcissism. Narcissistic abuse doesn't always come with bruises. Sometimes it shows up in the form of silent guilt, constant second-guessing, and a slow erosion of your identity. Narcissists don't destroy you all at once. Stay with us. This is Red Flag Confessions. At first, he opened every door for her. He remembered the tiniest details of her childhood. He made her feel chosen. And then slowly, he became the reason she forgot who she was. This is how narcissistic abuse begins, not with a scream, but with a smile. Narcissistic abuse doesn't start with fear. It starts with charm. Emily met Jacob at a coffee shop in downtown Austin. He was charming, articulate, and oddly magnetic. Within days, he was texting her good morning and good night. By week 2, he'd memorized her coffee order. By month 1, she believed she had found the one. What Emily didn't know was that Jacob wasn't falling in love. He was studying her. Every vulnerability, every unmet need became a roadmap to control. Narcissists don't date, they mirror. He wasn't showing her who he was. He was showing her who he wanted her to be. Soon the compliments slowed. The good morning text came later, then not at all. When she asked if something was wrong, he sighed. Why are you so needy? It's called devaluation. It's the narcissist's favorite trick. Raise you up, then pull the rug out just to watch you fall. He started denying things he'd clearly said. You're imagining things. I never said that. Her anxiety skyrocketed, but she couldn't explain why. She began apologizing just to keep the peace. And when she cried, he rolled his eyes. So dramatic. Gaslighting isn't confusion, it's conditioning. Slowly, her world shrank. He didn't like her best friend, said she was toxic. He hated how much time she spent at work, called it selfish. She stopped wearing lipstick because he said it made her look fake. In her mind, she was compromising. In his, he was winning. Emily used to love her job, but lately, even simple tasks felt impossible. Every time her phone buzzed, her chest tightened. Was he upset again? Did she forget to text back fast enough? She'd stare at her screen in meetings, rereading their last conversation, obsessing over her tone. At night, she'd lay awake beside him. His back turned, the silence louder than words. Sleep stopped coming. And when it did, she'd wake up with that familiar knot in her stomach. That creeping sense that something was wrong, but she couldn't explain why. Friends stopped checking in. She stopped reaching out. Because no one saw what he was doing. Not even her. Not yet. Every time she thought about leaving, he'd pull her back in. One night, after screaming at her, he cried in her lap. Told her she was the only one who ever loved him. That moment, that's a trauma bond, where pain and affection get tangled. It's not love. It's addiction. To understand the pain, you have to understand the mind behind it. A narcissist doesn't fall in love with you. They fall in love with the reflection of themselves that they see in your admiration. In the beginning, they idealize you. You are perfect, flawless, special. Not because of who you are, but because of how you make them feel, important, desired, in control. It took Emily 2 years to realize this wasn't love, it was survival. She started secretly journaling, speaking to a therapist, and rebuilding trust in her own voice. One morning, she packed a suitcase while he was at work. No goodbye note, no dramatic ending. Just freedom. He wasn't a monster at first. That's what makes it so hard. But that illusion can't last forever. The moment you become real, the moment you have needs, opinions, boundaries, the spell breaks. Now they feel criticized, threatened. Their fragile ego panics, so they punish you. Not with fists, but with silence, with blame, with withdrawal. They don't want connection, they want control. And to them, love is not about giving. It's about getting attention, getting admiration, getting power. But remember this, the version of them you fell in love with was never real. What is real is you. To a narcissist, your pain is proof that they matter. Your confusion is their comfort. And when you finally walk away, they won't grieve you. They'll grieve the supply you used to give them. That's not love. That's possession. If you or someone you know is in a toxic relationship, know this. Love should never make you question your worth. Psychologist Alice Miller once said, "Wherever I look, I see people who have not had this experience of being welcomed and accepted for who they are. These people often become narcissists, not out of vanity, but as a defense against a deep wound, the absence of unconditional love. That's the heartbreaking truth. Narcissism isn't always born from arrogance. Sometimes it's just the armor a wounded child never took off." So if you're feeling confused by narcissistic abuse, you're not alone. Narcissistic abuse hides in plain sight, behind charm, gifts, and good intentions. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Narcissistic abuse doesn't always leave bruises. It leaves confusion, self-doubt, and silence. The longer you stay, the more your identity is replaced with theirs, your voice slowly drowned out by manipulation and fear. Leaving isn't just about walking away. It's about reclaiming your truth before it's rewritten. Because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to remember who you were, before the gaslighting, the guilt, and the emotional warfare. So leave, not when it's convenient, but when it's necessary. And it's necessary the moment you realize this love is costing you your peace, and that is too high a price to pay. Subscribe if you're ready to understand the patterns, reclaim your power, and never be manipulated like this again. Subscribe for more stories where love turns dark and healing begins in truth. Thanks for watching. Here at Red Flag Confessions, we give voice to the pain others tried to silence. Because healing starts when the truth is no longer hidden. Your story matters, and you're not crazy, you're waking up.